Hello everyone, let's continue our testing journey with Angular Testing Library, and in this next lesson, in our current lesson, let's just start with running our Angular application. So now that we have run it in GServe, we have our Angular application, and this is it. We have the ability to write something, to add, and it goes straight to local storage, but we don't see it rendering here. And when application boots, we don't see the tasks we already have in local storage, and this is what we're going to do today. So let's open our new terminal and type out the command ng generate new component, and that's going to be the component that we're going to call tasks list. Enter. Okay, the component has been created and the app module tests have been updated. Clear the terminal. And again, let's start by writing test first, and then we're going to look at how to do all of this. So we need the first before each in our generated spec test file, and everything else the second before each where it detects changes, and it should create this sample test we can safely delete, and we're not going to need those as well, and you can delete all of this as well. And let's start with writing our test. It should render list of tasks from local storage. Let's pass an async callback here. And now we're going to render our component with Angular Testing Library. So const component render. Let's auto import it from testing library and pass here our tasks list component. Let's actually think about how we're going to render it. So basically what we're going to need in our task list component, this is going to be an array of tasks from local storage, and we're going to go over it with ng-for. So for our test to work, first we need to create tasks, set them to local storage, and then we can test for any changes. Let's start by doing that. So tasks is going to be an array of tasks, and our task consists of, if we're looking here, when we're adding our tasks, we're adding them with name and completed. And we can actually even write an interface for that. So let's say export interface iTask, and that's going to be name a string and completed a boolean. And in our task list component test, we can say that this is an array of iTask. Then we're writing here name first task, completed false, and let's put it one more here, so it's going to be two tasks, and that's going to be second task and completed true. We're not actually checking what completed does. It has no functionality yet, but it will. Let's also agree that task list component is going to accept an array of tasks from its parent, and it's going to be useful to us in the future. So it's going to accept a property, and in Angular we do that by using input, and that's going to be input tasks, and that's going to be an array of iTask, and it's going to be empty by default. Auto import, and that's it. Now what we can write here is expect component, and we're going to use our get by test ID. Let's say task 0, and task 0 is how we're going to differentiate each task in our component. We are going to give them the name, the test ID of task dash index. What it gives us is, it will give us a few values. We don't need here await. Actually, I don't know why it got here, but we do need await here. We forgot to put it here. Yeah, we do need await here, and it's going to return us text content. This is what we need. So, and text content might have some extra spaces in there, so let's just trim it and say to be tasks 0 name. So we wrote our test, we create our component. Our component doesn't do anything yet, but let's run ng-test and work toward writing a functionality that would make our test pass. And also one piece of thing we forgot is we need to set this local storage set item tasks, JSON stringify tasks. And to keep our state clean after running each of our tests, we need to set to local storage remove item task, so we start fresh every time. Okay, so here it is. So total 1 failed, 4 success. So what is a failed test? Unable to find an element by data test ID task 0. So let's work on fixing that. So what we told is that this is gonna need so that this task list component accepts a property, an input. Let's copy and paste and put it first. When you're using Angular testing library and you want to pass a property to Angular component, what you do is you pass a second object. You write here component properties, and that's going to be an object with tasks. And this is NES6 notation, which is equivalent to this. We're saving this. It's still not going to pass because nothing is written here. Let's go to app component HTML and put our app tasks list in here. And in app component.ts, let's create a tasks property that's also going to be an array of iTask. And in here, we're going to get local storage, get item tasks, or an empty array. And we also need to make this JSON parse. And in app component HTML, let's just pass it tasks equal to tasks. Save this. We're almost there. Our test is still gonna fail. Oh, actually we have two failed tests now. I wonder why is that. Unable to find element of, and okay, let's wait for a second and see what Karma tells us. Should render the title correctly. We don't need this actually. We don't need this test in app component spec TS. Let's delist. If you have this, should render the title correctly. It's absolutely useless test in our case, so we can safely delete it. And now we're getting back to our task form component, our task list component.html, and let's work with our input. So we have UL, and we're going to use ng4 for our li element and say let item task of task, and we're also gonna need our index. In here we're gonna put attribute data test ID, and I'm writing attribute here because this is how you write dynamic data properties, dynamic data attributes in Angular. You prefix them with attr, and we're gonna put here task dash plus I, and in here we're going to put task name. Save this, see what happens. Our tests still fail. Unable to find element data test ID tasks 0. This is because I wrote tasks and we need task. Save this again, and now we have total 4 success. Let's see all of our tests pass, and if we open our running application, if we refresh, all of our tests from local storage come here. But if we write something new, put add, it doesn't appear here, only if we refresh. So this is a problem with re-rendering, and we don't have this functionality yet, and we don't have test for this functionality yet, but we will have in the next video. So this is it for now, and I'll see you next time.